Hello and welcome to the Path of Least Resistance. I'm Daversai. Today we're going to go over the November 2025 Path Monthly Challenges, and as always we're stealing our spreadsheet from PetiB. Just as a reminder, it's always linked in the description of all of the monthly videos. His spreadsheet has more information, shows the compilation of everyone who does and submits their relic builds and champions, so there's a lot more information available there. It'll also be, people actually playing the game, not through any challenges, so you'll see like full epic relic builds and stuff like that. A lot of those players are better than I am, so yeah, so there's a lot you can learn from that just by looking over his spreadsheet. My spreadsheet, of course, will also be linked. This month I'm not seeing anything too terrifying, so I do think this 10 with only the strong Ash is something to worry about, because you'll get lose all your units except your strongest, then your strongest will be frostbitten because of Ash, so that is something to worry about. There's a couple mortal marks, so at 2, and one more at 49, and then a small stuff at 51, but that's kind of it. And then for champions, there's, as always, a bit of Aurelia and Azur, Katarina, Zed, but not too much. So it seems like this month will be easier than last month. Yeah. Also, a few days ago, I did a video, maybe over a week, I don't know. I have no concept of time anymore. But I did a video of my alt account doing the monthly challenges, planning that out, and with a smaller roster. So generally speaking, what I did was I just picked champions that were basically unleveled, and so like level 7 with no relics basically because they're level 7, and I just kind of threw them at the first 30 basically, and then after that then I actually planned the spreadsheet. So if you want to check that out, it might help you if you have a smaller roster versus this one where we have access to everything, so we can just make all sorts of choices. There's also videos of most of the gameplay on the second channel, which you can check out if you want. But, monthlies are kind of boring, so you may not want to do that. But if you're interested in how I'm beating things with, like, level 7 Mordekaiser, that's on there. Anyway, back to this. So to start with, a lot of things are filler. But as always, we start with our new champions, so 3 Anivia, 3 Annie, and I don't think there's going to be too much problems here. So Anivia into Formidable should be fine. Anivia into Mortal Marks and Blinking Flames should also be fine. And even if we lose Anivia, when she comes back as the egg, she'll just be a new Anivia, which is probably positive. We'll get a bunch of Anivia out. For relics, I'm using full build, Guardian, Angel, and Grand General's Counterplan. Full build lets you challenge so that you can basically kill your Anivia. That's kind of unlikely to happen in a level 2 challenge, but with Mortal Marks we might be able to pull that off on clear. And then I think Anivia is going to be fine on the 3, even though she's not like specifically good at this or anything. For 4, we're using Annie, and Annie is really good at destroying low-level adventures, so I'm not super worried about any of this. Versus Zed, she even has Guile, so she can stun Zed, and then you're not like too worried about anything. So I think this will all go fine. They also have low life, and Annie is particularly good into low life adventures. On 7, we're using Nidalee to take advantage of Dune Striders. On 8, we're using Vhagar to kill Katarina. Also, we get Embrace the Current, so we'll get some spell mana back. On 9, we're using Warwick. Basically anything with Double Stalker's Blade, Guardian Angel, and low cost should be good to just remove all their units. On 10, we're using Fiddlesticks again because of that Ash only the strong combination. On 11, we're using Nami to take advantage of repetition, but it is Karma, so you could honestly use anything there, since you'll start with 10 mana. On 12, we're using Ash to take advantage of Fortifying Frost. We can also Frostbite Draven, and then he won't be able to hurt us. On 13, we're using Spirit Blossom Teemo for no particular reason. I think he'll kind of destroy Yasuo anyway. Yasuo draws a lot of cards. and we can steal their stuns and whatnot. On 14, we're using Swain to take advantage of Arms Race, and my Swain is 6-star, but a 3-star should be fine into it anyway. On 15 and 16, we're using Echo, again for no particular reason, I just feel like playing some Echo. On 17, we're using Samira to take advantage of Trick of the Light. We should be able to level her up pretty quickly and do a bunch of extra damage with created cards. On 18, we're using Lilia. This is just like another double stalkers champion, so should be fine to remove all of their units, and we can dodge Fiora's anything just by putting our unit to sleep or by putting her to sleep. On 19 and 20, we're using Ashe to take advantage of Fortifying Frost. We can also Frostbite into Lee Sin or Yasuo to make it so that they don't do any damage, which really, basically counters them. On 21, we're using Nami to take advantage of Price of Progress. I'm a little worried about Nami into Trandamir, but I think if you can play spells an infinity amount of times, it should be fine. On 22, I'm using Fiddlesticks to deal with animated armor. Yeah, not worried about that at all. For number 23, we're also using Fiddlesticks. Just kind of as a filler. I already put him there, so I just copied him over. On 24, we're playing Yuumi to take advantage of Celestial Guidance. Could use basically any Targon or really anything. Fizz isn't usually very strong. 25, we're using Morgana because I just don't like Undying Rage Victor, and Morgana should be able to keep all of their units in check. 26, Elder Dragon to take advantage of Guided Meditation. 27, we're using Lux Illuminated to take advantage of Unstoppable Force. 28, we're using Mel for no particular reason. I actually don't even know if this is good, but we'll find out. 29, we're using Elise to take advantage of Wailing Spirits. We're at 30, Volibear for Magic Number. Should be able to double Stalker's Blade Victors out of existence too, which will be good. 31, we're using LeBlanc to get rid of Ezreal. A little concerned about Noxian Might too, but it should be okay with LeBlanc. Varus for only the strong on 32, and also... Wait, I thought I put Varus there. Oh, Kindred on 33 to take care of Fiora and Zed. If only the strong kills Kindred because of the Guardian Angel, they should be able to come back. And also we can use their champion spell to refresh the Guardian Angel, so we should never really be out of Kindred, and I think that'll be fine. For 34, I'm using Vi to take advantage of Breakthrough Research. Also, I just haven't played Vi in a while, and I kind of want to remember what that feels like. On 35, we're using Jack for Mercy Killing, so round end kill all damage units, and I think that'll go fine with Jack. Misfortune puts out a lot of units up front, and we'll just be able to kill them with the Attune power. 36, we're using Garen to take advantage of Dutiful Service. 37, we're just using Viego for no particular reason. Should be fine into animated armor though, since his ephemeral units, can't remember what they're called, Miss probably, have equal power and health, so should be fine there. Vhagar to take care of Katarina on 38. There is Nature's Revenge there, so we might need a little extra protection, but should be fine. On 39, Nami to take advantage of Embrace the Current, and we're not really worried about Adorabyss. Our Squirtle's going to be infinitely powerful. On 40, we're using Nasus. I'm trying Nasus as a counter to Lulu. Lulu doesn't necessarily need a counter most of the time, but I was playing a little bit of Nasus, and it just seemed like Nasus shuts Lulu down completely with the minus stats. For Chronicle of Ruin, we're using Teemo. I think it'll be fine on this Ezreal Azur. We should always outstat them, so I think it will be good. And then we can also put infinite puff caps in their deck. 42, we're using Master Yi to take advantage of Price of Progress. Not really worried about this one, although if Master Yi is the only thing on the board and Yasuo attacks, he's going to get stunned, so we might need 2 rounds. There's also After Image, which is kind of scary, but I think should be okay. On 43, we're using Elise. This is just a filler. You can use anything there. On 44, we're using Master Yi to take advantage of Price of Progress again. This is Azure and Aurelia. I think we'll be faster than they are. We should be able to win on round 2, and hopefully they won't they won't win until round 3. Elise again into 45 as filler. Master Yi for Embrace the Current on 46. I think we'll have infinite spells here again because when we play a spell we gain 1 spell mana, so it should be fine, and Viego and Gangplank aren't particularly troublesome. Nasus for Lulu on 47 again. Kindred for Fiora on 48. Mel for Mortal Marks on 49, so Mel will just be able to kill everything with any spell. Should be good. Yasuo for the Katarina on 50. I'm using Yasuo here because he's really good at stunning, and you have unnatural selection, so that gives Katarina Evolve, so she's not going to die to a single Veigar shot. But Yasuo should be fine there. We're using Jinx for Azure Combat Awareness, and Demacian Might too. That's so many attacks. Also Darius can put out a lot of units really quickly, and you have small stuff. No reason not to use Jinx here. Nothing else is too terribly tough. Maybe I will put a red here because I'm somewhat concerned about it. I will put a red on 10 as well because I'm somewhat concerned about it. Not too concerned though. 52, LeBlanc for Ezreal. 53, Mel for Mercy Killings again, taking advantage of the all damage units die. It does have Sovereign's Domination, so we want to be a little bit careful there as well. 54, we're using Victor just because I want to play Victor. I also have 6-star Victor, so it's going to be fine. But I think Victor will probably be fine regardless, but you can just use any filler here. Ambessa is my Kai'Sa counter, so we're using it on 55. Using Diana to take advantage of Combat Awareness on 56. We're using Ambessa again to counter Kai'Sa on 57. Ari to counter Vestige of Helya on 58. Teemo for Chronicle of Ruin on 59. There's Noxian Might 2 here, which I'm a little concerned about, because if Aurelia is bigger than our Teemo, that's not going to be very good, because Aurelia is still going to be able to get all of their attacks in, and yeah, I'm a little concerned about that, but I think it'll probably be okay, but I'm not sure that that's okay. This one, like if you wanted to just throw another Jinx down, is probably a better solution, and we do have an extra Jinx that we could use, but I'm trying it out because I just like Teemo into Chronicle of Ruin. On 60, we're using Veigar to take care of this Fizz Aurelia. This is a Demacian Might 2 Aurelia, so if she strikes, you're going to have problems. It's also a vicious enemy, so she'll be down on round 1. I think that Veigar should be roughly fast enough to kill it, but this actually might be a good swap to Yasuo instead, because he just has stronger control, or any like double Stalker's Blade. Actually, I'm just gonna switch it. I'm just gonna use Warwick here. Any double Stalker's Blade unit, because when you drop it, it'll, like, you play a Warwick, it'll kill the Aurelia, and then you don't have any problems anymore. And then if Warwick dies, like let's say they play another Aurelia, you just drop Warwick, they'll kill it again. So just gonna make that change there. Again, any double Stalker's Blade, doesn't have to be Warwick, doesn't have to be 6-star, just anything. 61, we're gonna use Volibear to take advantage of Magic Number. It also has Rock Too Hard, so we just, actually we're not worried about, I was thinking of the other one with rocks. This is fine, that won't do anything to us. On 62, we're using Kindred against Fiora, plus it has Wailing Spirit, so that Shadow Isle's discount, so all works out for us. On 63, we're using Elder Dragon to take advantage of Mountain's Peak. There is Zed with Gathering Storm, so you might take a lot of damage if you're not prepared for that. On 64, we're using Nidalee to take advantage of Dune Striders. It's just Draven, should be totally fine. On 65, we're using Volibear to take advantage of Fortifying Frost. Also should be, again, Double Stalker's Champion to kill Kai'Sa. So there is also After Image, so they'll get a bunch of extra units. I think Volibear is fast enough, especially with a -1 cost, and all of his units basically have Trifarian Might, so they'll strike when they come into play, and I think that'll take care of Kai's units just fine, so I'm not too worried about that. 66 is our second Jinx. This is Aurelia with Remove the Imperfection, so when they summon a unit recall a player's follower, you might end up with no followers, which means nothing to block Aurelia with, and then you'll die. So we're using just Jinx because nothing else was super worrisome, and we have that extra Jinx. On 67, I'm using Swain just as a filler to take advantage of Noxus discount, but of course Swain is the best champion in the game, so, you know, that's definitely going to work. On 68, we're using Victor to take advantage of Breakthrough Research. Lee Sin isn't terribly strong, so you could probably just use anything there if you wanted. Particularly anything that can, like, stun or recall would also be good. Sometimes it's hard to remove him from the board once he's in play, because he can give himself barrier at will, but I'm not too worried about it. On 69, we're going to be using Ambessa to take advantage of Noxus discount. It also, Misfortune plays a lot of units, we'll drop with Double Sucker's Blade, killing all those units, and it should be fine. There's also Beyond Mere Flesh, which I don't think matters too much there. And finally, for 70, we're going to be using Diana to take advantage of Forest Workout, where you have Strike double my power. I'll probably put Gale Force back on here for this one, because that just makes sense, since that's not Scout. Yeah. And then we'll be able to attack, and then with double attack, like get 8 or 16 times power, and should be able to win in one round. So yeah, that is the monthly plan for this month. I'm looking for the other Diana to make sure if I didn't read Combat Awareness as Force Workout. I confuse the two of them in my brain sometimes, and I did not, so we're fine. But yeah, so that is the plan. I think it'll go fine. Like I said, I think this month is easier than last month, and you know, shouldn't have too many problems. I'll probably also do the alt runs this month, but probably towards the end of the month instead of towards the beginning, because monthly challenges burn me out and I really don't want to do them twice in a row. But towards the end of the month I'll release those as well. And yeah, that's all for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.